Federal budget cuts mandated by a procedure called sequestration have been slicing away at programs and projects across the nation. States with a large federal presence are seeing those cuts hit close to home. Employees at the National Weather Service are finding out sequestration cuts will mean furlough days for them. Cuts that will come at a time when Oklahomans depend on the National Weather Service for information on severe weather. Cuts are also about to hit thousands of Oklahoma's elderly and very young.
The federal budget cuts under sequestration will cost state agencies millions of dollars. And it's not just state agencies that will feel the impact. Statewide, thousands of people below the poverty line, senior citizens and young children, depend on social services that are also about to be cut. James Gonzo is executive director of the Community Action Agency in Central Oklahoma. There are 20 other such agencies across the state overseeing programs like Head Start and community services. In Central Oklahoma, more than 2,000 children, ages 3 to 4 years old, are in the Head Start program.
Now, these 3 and 4-year-olds, Head Start is an educational health program. It's not a babysitting program. We teach them education, how to read. We also work with the health functions on them. We also work a lot with parents. Most of our programs have an income guideline. Head Start is the lowest. You're talking about really low-income children that would not have this advantage if it wasn't for Head Start.
Joycelyn Brown is director of the Will Rogers Head Start program.
I can see the child coming into our program at the beginning of the school year and the fear they may have, and then to turn around in March or April and see those same children and they are just bursting over with, after learning so many things and doing so many more things. And that's where I get my joy.
Head Start in Central Oklahoma alone is losing $600,000. That means at least 100 fewer children will have access to the program, and at least 7 teachers will lose their jobs. Teachers like these who are undergoing training at the Community Action Agency. Ann Ricketts is Director of Community Services at the Will Rogers Center. On her side of the building, many services for senior citizens are facing cuts.
Seniors will not have as much access to shopping routes, for medical services to go back and forth to the doctor, for dialysis. They will not have transportation to go to congregate meal sites. We provide transportation for between 2,500 and 3,000 seniors each month.
A bill approved by the state legislature this session puts new restrictions on who can get food stamps, something Ann Ricketts says will mean an increasing number of people looking to food pantries for help.
A lot of our seniors only get anywhere from $7 to $15 a month in food stamps. And with their limited income, they're limited already on what they can spend. So we have definitely seen a rise in people calling and asking for referrals to food pantries.
The Community Action Agency runs weatherization programs. With $7 million in stimulus funds, they were able to help a lot of people, averaging 50 homes a month. That has now dropped to 15.
We did over 1,000 houses with that stimulus money. And we're talking about energy savings, a lot of senior citizens that cannot afford to fix their house, and they're certainly not going to a nursing home. They can't afford it.
A state agency that affects the lives of virtually every Oklahoman is expecting cuts as well, of nearly $10 million, all of it coming over the next few months. Julie Cox-Cain is the Chief Operating Officer of the Department of Health.
So everything from a 2.5% reduction to particular programs like those that inspect healthcare facilities, all the way to as much as a 20% reduction in certain of our programs. Most of them, though, are around the 8 or 9% reduction level.
That 20% cut is to programs that studies the underlying causes of birth defects. There will also be cuts to the agency's core missions.
We're, of course, most concerned with our programs around infectious disease and preparedness. It's critical in those particular programs that we have active surveillance activities looking for infectious disease outbreaks in our community.
Cuts will also come for prevention and public health, which means the immunization program.
untold numbers of lives that have been saved through vaccine programs in the last several decades, but it's dependent upon having a community that's well vaccinated and immunized so that people aren't able to spread those diseases.
And there are funding reductions for pre-planning to get ready for new health threats.
If you look at what's happening with avian flu or bird flu in China, I mean, that's the kind of thing that we're already looking at, already preparing for in case it makes a significant jump and we start to see diseases like that in the United States.
Don Hudman is executive director of the area-wide aging agency in central Oklahoma, the foremost provider of social services and meals for senior citizens. His agency operates in Cleveland, Logan, Canadian, and Oklahoma counties. There are 10 other such agencies across the state, and sequestration will cost them more than $16 million. That means at least 1,000 fewer meals at senior centers and those delivered to homes just in central Oklahoma. There is already a meals waiting list of 500 people just in Oklahoma County. Hudman serves on the board of the National Association of Area Agencies on Aging. He says because the cuts all hit late in the fiscal year, the impact is worse.
Willfully, do you want to be the person who says, you, and you, no meals today. You, and you can't get a ride to the doctor. I want to continue serving people at the highest levels possible, and that's what we're about. That's what we've always been about. But these cuts are real.
Unless Congress acts, Hudman says sequestration cuts are locked in until the year 2021, and that would mean helping fewer and fewer people each year, because he does not see money coming from anywhere else.
I see other states putting money into the hat in order to make sure that the lives of these older folks are not so negatively hampered. And what do I see from this state? We're talking about giving tax cuts to rich folk. That's what we're talking about here.
Sequestration cuts will affect many others in Oklahoma. Any federal grant from law enforcement to medical research will be reduced, along with cuts to programs receiving federal dollars and furloughs of federal employees, now including those at the National Weather Service.